All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to the Explainer, Junior Detectives. Today, we're stepping into a slightly spooky, super fun cartoon mystery. Get ready to use your best detective skills and fire up those imaginations because we're going to explore a famous, tricky little tale called Spider's Parlour. Let's meet our cast of characters. Over on one side, leaning right over that railing, we've got our sneaky spider. Look at him rubbing his little fuzzy hands together. You see that big smile and those giant googly eyes? He looks pretty friendly and welcoming, doesn't he? But hold on. Down below, zipping around with her wings buzzing furiously, we have our second character, a very smart, resolute little fly. Check out those huge red bug eyes and that determined stance. These two are about to have a really interesting and honestly very dangerous conversation. Now, before we really start our detective work and listen in on their chat, I've got a quick warm-up question for you. I want you to literally yell your answer right at the screen. Do you think the spider is actually being friendly in this poem? I mean, yeah, he's smiling, but spiders do eat flies. So what do you think? Is it a trick, or is he just a genuinely nice guy? Keep that answer locked in your brain while we investigate. Section 1. Welcome to the parlor. Let's move on to our first clue and see how this all builds up. We're going to read the spider's special invitation to the fly, and you've got to imagine this in the smoothest, silliest, goofiest spider voice possible. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. Try picturing him saying it exactly like that, rubbing his sneaky little spider legs together, maybe tipping an invisible top hat, and trying to sound as polite and gentlemanly as he absolutely can. So let's do a really quick vocabulary check. What in the world is a parlor? Well, it's really just a tricky, old-school word for a living room. The spider is basically opening his front door wide and saying, "Hey, little fly, come hang out in my living room." Sounds totally harmless, right? Let's see what else he says. "It is the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy." Oh man, he is laying it on so thick right now. He really wants the fly to think his living room is the most beautiful, sparkly, wonderful place in the whole wide world, packed with comfy cushions and shiny decorations. And he just keeps going. "The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you are there." Ooh, a winding stair. Magical, curious things? He's making it sound like an indoor amusement park, isn't he? Imagine sparkling lights, giant lollipops, maybe a tiny bug-sized roller coaster. He desperately wants the fly to be super curious about what's hiding up those stairs. Section 2. The spider's sneaky trick. All right, detectives, let's hit pause for a second. It's time to switch on those super sleuth scanners and use our critical thinking skills. What is the spider actually trying to do here? Is he really running a fun museum of curious things at the top of his stairs? The spider says he has curious things to show you, but let's look at what he actually means. It's a trap to eat you. That winding stair he's bragging about is actually his sticky, stringy spider web. If the fly goes zooming up there to see those magical things, she's going to get totally stuck in that giant web and become a tasty spider snack. Section 3. The smart little fly. But hey, remember our other character? Let's check in with this smart little fly. How in the world is she going to respond to all this sweet-talking flattery? I imagine her zipping around, speaking in this fast, slightly nervous, but highly confident little buzzy voice. "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "To ask me is in vain. Now that is a big, definitive no way." You can just see her shaking her head furiously and buzzing her wings in a big X shape. She is absolutely not falling for his tricky trap. Time for another quick vocabulary pop-up. Vain is kind of a tricky old word that just means absolutely useless. So the fly is confidently hovering right out of reach, basically telling the spider, "Listen, buddy, asking me to come inside your little parlor is completely useless. You're wasting your breath." And here is her grand finale. "For who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." Boom, she drops the truth. She knows exactly what happens on that giant, sticky web. She knows that bugs who march up those stairs become dinner and never ever come back down. Watch her fly away triumphantly. She is one smart fly. Section 4. Beware of sweet words. Okay, let's step back from the cartoon for just a minute, because our smart, buzzing little fly is actually teaching us a huge, real-life lesson here. It's a lesson we can literally use every single day. Here's our value pick, the absolute most important lesson we can take away from this entire story.
Be careful of sweet words. The spider used the sweetest, nicest, most exciting words he could possibly think of, offering beautiful rooms and curious toys, but he was using them to hide a really nasty trap.
So, the absolutely crucial point we need to remember is this: not everyone who sounds nice is truly kind. Sometimes people, or, tricky cartoon spiders, might give you lots of compliments or promise you really cool things just to trick you. Just because someone uses sweet words doesn't mean they're a safe friend. We've got to be smart like the fly, keep our distance, and pay close attention to what's really going on beneath the surface.
Which brings us to our final question for today's explainer. I want you to really think about this. What will you do the next time someone tries to trick you with sweet words? Are you going to be easily fooled by a smile and a fancy invitation? Or will you stand strong, buzz your wings, say, "Oh, no," and be just as smart and safe as our little fly? Keep those detective eyes open out there, friends, and remember to always look past the sweet words.